I was explaining to Jim a little bit of the history of the birth of the Y, and it was a beautiful, serendipitous kind of thing. But Tom Cousins had come to tour my campus, and I'm walking him around campus, and we are looking at a number of different things, looking out over the grounds, walking over the grounds, and Tom asked me the question that the head of every nonprofit wants to be asked, because then you know that they're really interested and they're going to help you with that. And he said, Phyllis, what is your greatest need here at Crossnore? And I was telling him my opinion of the greatest need, and I said, but Tom, if you ask my children, they're going to say, it's a swimming pool. And I said, do you realize that there is not a swimming pool that's in working order consistently in this county? Not even in the summertime generally, rarely in the summertime, and never year-round. And I said, there are generations that have grown up here that never learned to swim. We don't even have a YMCA. And he said, what? This mountain region doesn't have a YMCA? And I said, you know, while I know right now that you would be willing to help me build a pool on this campus for the abused, abandoned, neglected children that call Crossnore home and school, wouldn't it be wonderful if there could be a pool for this whole mountain region and a full Y? And he said, let's just make that happen. And I am telling you that I found myself in a whirlwind. John Blackburn is calling me because Tom had gone right back to Linville, walked into John Blackburn's office, and I think 3 days later, the big kahunas from YMCA National are here in the mountains, and we're all putting our heads together. And then it's just fast forward. We hire a capital campaign crew, a company out of Winston-Salem, and they do a feasibility study. And the report comes back, and the report was, if this campaign is going to be successful, then John, you and Phyllis must be leaders. And we're like, I just didn't really imagine at that point. That sort of wasn't on my list. I didn't see leading a capital campaign. That sort of wasn't. Just God moves in mysterious ways. And so then the next thing I know, I feel like John and I had just completed a hospital campaign. I had just completed a $7 million campaign here on campus. And then we turn and we're going to raise what I think initially another $7 or $8 million for this YMCA complex, not counting that third phase. So it was going to be the family center. It was going to be the aquatic center that was going to be the top priority. And anyway, I guess as they say, the rest is history.
Phyllis, tell us, what has been the impact of having that Y here for the kids?
I think the one thing that is a major goal for me here at Crossnore is to model for these children what a healthy American family looks like, feels like, and I might even further expand that, a healthy Christian family. And what's so beautiful is each cottage as a family is able to go to a Christian family center and play together, work out together. I know you're aware of the epidemic of obesity in this nation. When we were children, 4% of teenagers were obese. Today it's 14%. But with children who've been in foster care in North and South Carolina, a piece of research that was done by the Duke Endowment, who also helped us with this YMCA, by the way, children who've lived in foster care, 25% show to be in the overweight and obese category. When you look at the future for those children, whether it's type 2 diabetes, heart issues, etc., ongoing, and what that's going to cost this country. I always say that even if you find someone who doesn't even believe, understand, comprehend what you try to do in a YMCA, then understand we're trying to save you taxpayer dollars way down the road. That's what a YMCA does for a community in terms of making them healthier. And wouldn't it be wonderful if the trips everybody was making happened to be over at the Y rather than up to the Cancer Center in Boone, for example. You know, there's such a link with obesity and increase in some forms of cancer, specifically breast cancer, which I continue to battle. So the why, as I see it, is certainly enhancing the quality of family life, therefore community life in the high country. But I see it as our one kingpin for preventing a wealth of just untold health issues and just dramatic and insurmountable cost that we can hardly fathom. Just the very last cancer treatment I did in January and February cost well over $250,000. $250,000, when in the early stages of trying to raise money for this YMCA, we would have thought, whoo, we're going to get this aquatic center fast if I could have just written a check to the Y. So that just sort of puts in perspective, how do we want to spend our money? Well, again, I'd much rather spend it at the YMCA and prevent those kinds of health issues if humanly possible, rather than spending it at a regional or national or international cancer center has been my hobby in the last 10 years. So anyway, that's kind of the history. I don't know what else you'd like for me to tell you about. Okay. Yesterday, the children were, they have chores outside. And so they were helping mulch some of the areas, for example, down in the little apple orchard and here and there. And I'd walked down and I was telling this group of youngsters, I said, do you know, Dr. Crain loves 3 things so much in the world. Can you guess what the 3 things are? The very, very most. And 2 little ones, a brother and sister, we keep sibling groups together, large sibling groups actually. We have sibling groups of 5, etc. But this little brother and sister said, children. I said, yes, Dr. Crain loves children, just so very much. Wonder what else. And we were looking around at just how the rhododendron this spring are just blooming on top of themselves. I've never seen a more glorious spring in the mountains. And I said, oh, a hen is really close by. And they said, flowers. And I said, yes. And so then I had them get really quiet. And I said, now the next hint is you're going to have to listen. And the bird song late yesterday afternoon was heavenly, just like music from heaven. And so anyway, what we've tried to do here on this campus is create a sanctuary, a true sanctuary for children who have all the odds against them, who've endured trauma very similar to what a soldier on the front lines, whether they were in Iraq or Afghanistan, is not uncommon for the vast majority of my children to be experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. Among the other many things, dealing with abandonment. Mother abandons them, leaves them with a relative. The relative can't care for them, perhaps grandparents. They're sort of moved back and forth between family members, then put in foster care. They've been shuffled through a number of foster care homes, and finally they find solid ground here on this campus. And we deal with all these abandonment issues as well. But Crossnore is a place of hope and healing, just as very similar with our mission of the Y. We want we're focusing a lot on the health of the individual and of the family healing at the Y, and very much it's the same here. It's physical health, it's mental health, it's the spiritual health, it's finding hope again, giving kids back their hope. That's what our work is at Crossnore.
The person asked you at one point, what is your greatest need here at the school? Let me ask you this, what is the greatest need for the Y?
The greatest need for the Y, as I see it, is number one, is to make sure that there is never a family in Avery County that is not able to participate due to lack of resources. There should never be a child, their mother, the father, that cannot come. So scholarships, providing funds in perpetuity so that we are able to close that gap. And in turn, that also helps with general operation expenses. There should be those individuals who care enough about the ongoing operation of this Y and understand that we are in a pretty remote mountain region, and while a great number of people are here May through October often to see the leaves, there are very few of us who live here full time. Our numbers in this county drop down to about 15,000. So we are a small rural mountain community for the vast majority of the year. We are going to have ongoing support, general operations. I could not have made this campus. We could not have transformed it to the beautiful place it is today, with beautiful buildings, lovely homes for children, always perfectly maintained so that you're not always behind the eight ball, but you're doing preventative maintenance. The Y is going to have to be able to do that ongoing. I couldn't have done it without huge support from my donor base. Ongoing support. That's exactly what our Y needs. And this Christian ministry over in Linville is going to need the kind of support that a almost 100-year-old organization like Crossnore has had and will continue to need going forward as well. I think there are those who get it, and I'm not worried. I really believe that the good Lord is going to poke the people on the shoulder. It's like my little Crossnore kids will come and poke me on the shoulder when they need something, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're poking people on the shoulder, and we're just laying it out. You know, this is what we need. The good Lord's He's gonna tap them, and they're going to get out their checkbook. They're gonna call up their family foundation, and the money will come because it's the Lord's work. For heaven's sake, who can't get that?